you have to build that trust. The first way you do that is by positioning yourself as an authority. Now, what does that mean? Well, this is why content online is so popular. Social media, videos, blog, things like that, right? That's what you have to do. If you want to beat your competition, out-educate them. Be more helpful to your prospects than they are. Be the person who's willing to help them first and then ask for the money later, because again, everyone else is asking for that money right up front. You want to position yourself as a resource and not just another service provider. So a service provider is, again, just someone who is seen as a salesperson, right? So let's take real estate, for example, because I know some of you are in real estate. I used to own a real estate business, so this is very personal to me. Most people who are in real estate, what do? We try to sell houses. That's how we make our money. So we're constantly in sales mode, right? Let me give my business card to people. Let me network. Let me meet 1 million people every single day. That's what I have to do. And so what happens is everybody sees us as a service provider. Oh, you're in real estate? That means you're a salesman. Oh, what? Again, it doesn't matter. Fill in the blank, right? So what happens is, let's keep with the real estate example. What changes now is, imagine if you blog, you do social media, all of your marketing is about educating people. All of it is, here's what you need to know about the market and where it is right now. Here's tips for selling your home without an agent. No, they can't sell it without an agent, right? We've all tried that. It doesn't work. You're going to end up being mad. You're going to give in. You're going to go with the agent. But if you're the agent who's, instead of saying, hire me, said, you can sell it on your own. Here's some tips. God bless you. Have a great life. They're going to say, oh my goodness, that was different. That was non-threatening. Let's call the person who tried to help us in the first place. Imagine what would happen if you did that in your own industry. If you tried to educate and help people and just be that go-to resource. So if someone has a question, don't say, I can answer that. When can we meet? And you give them a sales presentation. That's not what they want. Go online and answer their question. This is amazing. I see this every single day between the photos of people's food and photos of their pets. I then see people asking questions, and no business people, no entrepreneurs are ever coming in and answering them. And it drives me crazy. I have almost started 1,700 different businesses just because I've wanted to go in and answer their questions. The second thing is affinity, putting your personality into what you do. So again, when I said earlier is you are the brand. And I know that that's a paradigm shift for some of us. Understand that you already have a brand. This is the good news. Everyone who's ever met you already has an opinion of you. That's your brand. I mean, that's all it is. Again, it's not logos, it's not what you sell or what you do. It's you. When you came in tonight and you sat down next to the person right next to you, they looked at you and in a split second, they judged you. I know it shouldn't happen because we're at Saddleback, but it did. Right? It absolutely happened because we're human and that's what we end up doing. So you have to put your personality out there because a lot of times that's what's different. What happens if you have a competitor who actually is good at what they do? What if they are trustworthy? What if they have a good price? What if you don't hate your competition? If you think, you know what, I don't blame people for hiring them. Well, how do you compete? Your personality. That's how you compete. Because that's what makes you different. Some people are going to relate to you, some people are going to relate to them, and there's enough business for all of us out there, so that's okay. As you put out your personality, the 20-60-20 rule is going to come into play, and this basically means that 20% of people are going to love you, they're going to love your personality, they think you're amazing. 60% aren't going to care, or anything like that. They don't know you exist, and so we don't really want to fool with them. And 20% are going to hate you. They're just not going to like you at all, right? And that's okay, and here's why it's okay. When the 20% who don't like you maybe mention that, the 20% who love you get really fired up and come to your defense. If I went up to any 13-year-old lady or 30-year-old lady and told her that I hate Twilight, I have a fight on my hands, right? Like, the author doesn't have to come and defend herself because this lady is going to absolutely come and attack me. And people are going to, again, not everyone is relatable to each other. We all have different personalities, and that's okay. So people are not going to like you because you're successful. They're not going to like you because you're a bigger brand than them. They're not going to like you because they don't like the way you talk or they don't like the way you look. Here's a secret about good-looking people. We aren't that well liked. So it doesn't matter what happens, people are going to have it. So you have to put yourself out there and just trust the people who are going to be your 20% who love you. The next thing is demonstration. When was the last time you actually demonstrated your promises. So if you say, we've got great customer service, when was the last time you demonstrated that? This picture was from several years ago. I do not know why Mickey dressed up as a redneck. I guess Hillbilly Mickey knew that I was from Nashville, but this was taken in Disney World. You know, the real one? And, oh, come on. If you've been to Disney World, you know Disneyland's cute and adorable, but let's get real. Okay, so it's a Disney World. This is my sister-in-law, Carly. Let me just disclose, there's 17 years difference between my wife and my sister-in-law. I know I'm from Tennessee, and we marry our cousins at 13. I didn't want you to think that's what happened here. So she's just a lot younger. Years and years ago, she got diagnosed with diabetes, and we decided she was, having to give herself shots and all that every day. Let's take her to Disney World. She'd never been. This will be amazing. We get there, and we've been there a few days. Everything was going great. And then one morning, we're getting ready, and she drops her insulin bottle, and it shatters, and it's the last bit of medicine we have. She freaks out. Other family members were kind of freaking out, and I'm panicked because I'm ready to go ride the rides, and now this is, just ruined the whole day. So I called down to the front desk to let them know this problem. Now, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? You think they helped?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why they helped? Because this would not be a good story if it ended badly, and I wouldn't be telling. So I call, and the guy acts like he gets this call every single time, and he says, we've got our own pharmacy. Do you have her stuff back home? We can refill it. I did not know that Disney had a pharmacy. That's amazing. And thankfully, my wife had brought the info, so we got it. So the guy calls back. He says, we have got it. It'll be refilled in 2 hours. We can meet you at the park and give you the medicine. Disney says, we're the happiest place on earth. We want you to have a great time. We want it to be a fun experience. And they demonstrated it. Now notice that they're not marketing this story. They didn't submit a press release that says, we helped John Morgan with his sister-in-law who can't hold on to things and do that, right? Instead, they just demonstrated it. And so now I'm telling people for them. So demonstrate what you actually promise. Show people how good you are. Also communication, and obviously social media allows us to communicate in big ways and very effectively. You need to market with people and not at them. As we have talked about this entire time, everyone's blasting messages out people instead of talking with them. Again, when you look at social media, go to Twitter and do a search. Search any term in your industry. You're going to see people chatting about it, having a real conversation right then. It happens all the time. I've seen real estate agents pick up so much business because they'll see someone tweet, we're in town for the weekend and we're trying to ride around and look at houses, and the real estate agent, by the way, doesn't be not creepy, okay? They don't write them and say, I can help you or any of that, because there's no trust. They would write them and say, here's 2 or 3 open houses you should check out while you're in town. Enjoy your trip. Right? Part of a conversation now. That person's going to write back and say thanks. Who are they possibly going to call? Maybe them, maybe not, but you now have a shot, right? And that's what we're all wanting. So you want to market with people and not just at them. I'm tired of all these businesses and entrepreneurs putting up all these barriers to people being able to contact you. And I'm not saying that people should be able to text you at midnight. You don't need to be available 24/7. I think that is absolutely crazy. And then the business isn't serving you. You're a slave to it. But you have to be able to communicate with people. If your customers can't email you when they've got a question, what are you doing? You're going to get annihilated in business because it's only going to be more and more that people want that kind of interaction. Promotion is our last one here, and we've talked about this earlier. Everything you do is branding. The way you market yourself matters. I told the story of the church earlier. Think about people who still cold call. And their whole strategy there is, I'm going to call 100 people and sell to one of them. One of them will buy. Okay, one will buy, but you now have 99 people who hate you and hate your brand and are going to tell their friends about it, right? So understand the way you market yourself matters. This means if you blast out an email to people and they didn't sign up to actually receive that email and you're just kind of spamming them, they're not going to think wonderful things about your brand. So again, think about that. If you are in the service kind of industry where you show up to someone's house or office and you say, I'll be there at 10, and you're not there at 10, that affects your brand.